to a new episode of Riva Podcast. Today we have Jonathan Cisneros with us, owner, partner, friend. How are you doing today, Jonathan?
I'm doing well, Borja. It's a pleasure to be here with you for this podcast. It's an honor to be doing business with you, so looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think that what unites us is way more than business. It's business, friendship, passion, love, almost family. So tell us a little bit about what you do, how your path was with hardwood flooring, how did you get here? We didn't say it yet, but you are the owner of one of the most successful stores in Florida that sells, consults, helps architects, designers, and consumers on their projects to find the floor that they love.
Of course, no, it's an honor to be the first, Riva Gallery and to be partnered up with Riva. Ventured off many years to find the right, manufacturing business to partner up with. And as you know, we have quite the history together. And I came into the industry about 15 years ago through a family business similar to yourself, where my dad opened up his company. He's been in the industry for over 35 years. And we decided that Miami needed a flooring local in the area to provide what the market was calling for. And that's how we decided to come up with this store concept. And with your help, we've been able to achieve that.
How do you help anyone, it doesn't matter who you are, to find the perfect fit of floors that can tell their story?
That's exactly what we are. We encourage our clients, our designers, our architects, our contractors to come visit the store. And it's for the sole purpose of the experience. When you purchase a floor, it's not like you're purchasing a piece of clothing that you walk in, you walk out of the store within 30 minutes. Our clients find when they come to the store, they're blown away with how far we go with achieving their wants and needs. It's not just you walk in and you say, hey, I like that color and I'm walking out. No, they go through a whole feel, touch process. They look at the composition of the floor, what we have as opposed to other manufacturers, what they create, and they find that we encompass everything that they want in a floor. And by bringing them into the store, they're able to achieve that goal.
As you're saying, being able to achieve and adapt to every consumer many times is harder than it looks. And I think that it's amazing how we adapt and how were able to adapt many times, coming to Spain to the factory, designing with our team there of design many products up to the needs of the consumer, even bringing samples with you to the US to be able to adapt. And I found that many times you were the consultant for the customer. It was not the customer picking a floor, it was you designing a floor that will suit the customer you know. How do you find that inspiration to be able to over-satisfy that customer? How do you do it?
Well, obviously it's with your help. Because without Riva and having the backing that we have, we can never accomplish that. So going to the factory and being able to show our clients where the floor is sourced, how it starts, how it begins, literally starting from a tree and ending up with an engineered high quality floor, it's hard to find, and the way we're able to achieve the perfect floor for the perfect client and that inspiration is all through listening. We listen to the client, we find out what they like, what they don't like. We send them samples, as many as it takes to get the floor correct, as well as for those clients, we even offer them the service of, let's go to Spain, let's go visit the factory. You're buying a high quality floor. It's not like I said, you're buying a t-shirt, you're buying something as much that costs possibly more than a car.
Yeah.
So that service that we provide excels anything else out there that we can, service.
I mean, and definitely that's a huge differentiator between you and everything and everyone else, like how you go far and beyond for everybody. And this gallery shows the level of detail, the level of care with everything that you see here. In my experience, wood is addictive at some point. I have never met someone that got in the wood business that has left it. It's like a cult.
Yeah, no, it really is.
It happened to me. I never thought to work in the factory when I started, then in the US. I studied engineer and I never thought that my path was gonna be through wood. But once I got in, I couldn't go out.
No, I'm with you, and I have no plans of going out. I'm absolutely infatuated with it. It's constantly changing, and with Riva, we're adapting. Every year we consult with each other and we move forward with, all right, what is working in the industry? What is the market calling for? And how do we adapt and change and make sure we're ahead of the curve?
100%. Like the cool thing about us as manufacturers partnering with someone with your background, your experience, the knowledge that you have to offer as well as your family, is that we provide the knowledge of the forest, you provide the knowledge of trends, market research, consumers, designers. It's so much more. So we're able to get the best of both worlds and educate each other, help each other to achieve something great. It's so crazy that we can be from the forest to the end consumer the whole way. It's completely linked, and that's beautiful. And this shows up, and it just makes me want more. You know, I want to learn more. I want to know more. I want to see what your experience is, and same with you. Like, it's fascinating. So, in terms of design and trends, the U.S. is a massive market, right? Where do you see Florida going?
Florida has always been, I'd say, the third party in regards to trends. You know, we usually see it in LA, New York. Well, to begin, it starts in Europe. Europe dictates the rest of the market, and then it falls into LA, New York, and we're usually the third trending market. So we tend to look at those two areas to see what people are buying or, you know, what they're purchasing. And with COVID happening, we've had a large influx of New Yorkers and people from California moving here, so they're dictating the trends.
Yep.
And the trends have, in my market for the last 8 years, have always been select prime wood. And that's where a lot of manufacturers have failed to provide that within a reasonable time. And that's where we partnered up and you came in with exactly what the market needs.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that, because I was in New York a couple of days ago, and New York is a character market, right? New York wants a character of the wood. You think about New York about a steakhouse, you think about New York about a fireplace with knots on the wood, with, you know, character. But the funny thing is that every single person I spoke with in New York in a week said, no, New York is select. We're looking for that contemporary look, we're looking for that clean look, we're looking for that chic look. And you see that that's the trend in Miami, and it has been before New York. So I think that all that influx of people that are coming over here and setting the trends is putting Miami at a different scale.
Yeah.
I see this city setting up the trends for the rest of the
No,
US.
it is. You know, this is, everybody's moving here. Obviously, the market shows that Miami is one of the fastest growing cities in the world.
Yeah.
So by saying, hey, that Miami is setting the trend, I'm not surprised. You know, Miami's fast moving pace, and this is where we're at.
Absolutely, and you know that we've been working for a while now in the project of creating a factory here in Miami, and we're about to do it. We're 2 months from opening up, and that's gonna literally elevate the experience of the consumer by allowing them to go to a place, design their floors, see how it's manufactured, and I think that's also gonna set up a trend for the market, for the future, and allow people here in Miami to think further, to be able to not pick a color from the catalog, but go far and beyond and say, no, I want something different, I want something special.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And to have that flexibility, no other manufacturer in the market can do that. And within that lead time of being in the US market and being able to, you know, convert something within a short period of time with exactly what the consumer needs. You know, you're making a custom floor in Miami as opposed to overseas, which could take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And the end consumer, they don't have that time, you know, during construction to fulfill that. You know, there's overhead that needs to be met and lead times, but Riva is able to do this here in Miami. So what better market for me to position myself with than with Riva?
Yeah, and not only the option of designing your floor, but for us to work with partners like you, say, you know what, let's try this color in Miami, let's try this color in LA, let's try this color in New York, see how it works. Let's create trends that are seasonal, as the fashion industry do. Let's create a color for the winter in Minnesota. Let's create a color for the summer in California. Yeah. That's something that I think, I'm scared because
of course.
Creating the factory is huge.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be really cool.
No, yeah, I agree, and I understand, the fear behind it, the unknown, but that's what separates us from everybody else. Where instead of adapting to the trend, we're creating the trend. Yeah. And we're showing the market, look, we're ready for you. We have exactly what you need. So let's get on board or get left behind.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of other kind of floors in the market. How do you think wood is different from every other surface that it's used for flooring?
So I've always told my consumers, wood is a luxury. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of different flooring out there that you could purchase: LVT, tile, marble, wood. But at the end of the day, it's living, it's breathing in your own home, and you can't find that with any other product. So when consumers come in, I had a client here the other day where they're touching the panels and they're feeling it, and they're like, oh, this feels a little off. And I go, you're here, make it your living room. Take off your shoes. The client took off her shoes. She told her husband, take off your shoes, and he's there feeling it with his socks on. And she goes, take off your socks. He's like, no. I didn't have a pedicure, right? So he didn't take it off. But the wife goes, okay, she took off her socks and she felt it. She's like, this feels fantastic. Like, it doesn't feel like the touch you feel with your hand. I could feel the floor. I feel the wood. I go, and that's the beauty of wood. You do that with tile, it's not the same. Yeah. It's not the same. So wood separates itself from any other type of flooring out there in the industry.
Yeah, talking about tile, we've brought a new collection, Riva Tile, lately. We're from Spain. Spain is one of the biggest leaders in tile manufacturing in the world. We thought it was really interesting to elevate our brand, adding something that defines us as tile from where we come, Spain. What do you think about this collection? What do you think about the fact that we can match wood in the inside and outside of a house?
Well, I'm laughing because it's something that I've always wanted in the industry. Our past with our fathers, they did what they did and they did it well. And sometimes they didn't really venture off to expand and try new things because what they did was working. And it's not to say that I ever wanted to step away from wood floors, but I had to convince my dad, saying, hey, maybe we got to consider some tile. Why? We're in Miami. The South Florida humidity and moisture, we can't install engineered floors outside, but let's give it to the consumer. And that's where Riva said, hey, we're going to help facilitate having our wood floors and matching tile to go out into the exterior decking, into the bathrooms, provided that we're a one-stop shop. You don't have to find a complement of a tile or a marble to our floors. No, you want to run it throughout your house and into your balconies, into the exterior decks. We can provide that. So by doing so, we've able to separate ourselves from the wood floor market. We're one on its own. We're floor, tile, we have it. We have exactly that.
I think it's fantastic. Like, you laugh, I laugh too, because I'm a wood guy. Like, I love wood. I'll put wood everywhere in my house. Of course, outside I can't. But my girlfriend, she doesn't think the same. We have a small dog. And just the fact that we can have in the living room tile or in the kitchen tile and in the same house, in the other areas, wood that looks exactly the same and the size is exactly the same, I think it's a phenomenal option. And we just adapt to more share of the market, and I think that's pretty cool. What would you like this showroom to look in 10 years from now?
We're going to expand, and we're going to expand and we're going to adapt, because we're not niched to just wood floors, and we understand that. We specialize in wood floors, but we get that we need to bring other things to the market in order to be that one-stop shop, in order to be exactly what the consumer needs the moment they walk through that door, that they're not going to walk out and go shop around, because when they step in, they're going to have all their needs fulfilled.
We're seeing that people want to feel experience. You see a huge growth on people going to, vineyards to see and understand where the wine is coming from. You see people going to Michelin-star restaurants like crazy to have experience, not a meal. And that same experience, I think that people is looking to have when they come here. They want to not only buy a floor, they want to remember that experience. I always say, when you get something that's very expensive, if your experience was phenomenal, you remember the experience. If your experience was terrible, you remember the price.
Of course, that's exactly it. It's all about experience and service.
If you had to give one advice, just one, to an end consumer that is picking their floor, what would that be?
Picking your floor. Oh, that's a good question.
A friend calls and says, "Hey, Johnny, do me a question. I want to pick my floor. What advice would you give me?"
And it's not a straight answer, because us being on the installation portion of the industry, there's many factors that fall into play. So it's not as easy as a Google. I always recommend our clients do your research, but ask people that are informed. So the question I usually pose back to my clients is, what are the current conditions that you have going on in your house? Oh, we have water leaks, we have this, we have that. Okay, then maybe engineered flooring isn't for you. Maybe it is tile, all right? And I hate to pose a question back to the client, but I'm here to make sure your floor succeeds and your wants are met, and that you don't have any issues at the end when we finalize your floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have to be sure what they pick. I always tell anyone that asks me, like, this is like a march. This hopefully will last forever. You never know.
Yeah.
But when you buy it, you're expecting it to last forever.
Yeah.
So pick one that you get in love with.
Of course.
You have to be sure and just hear yourself. There's not a right or wrong answer at the end of the day. It's just your story is gonna be told through your floors. Pick whatever defines you the most. So, Johnny, I know that a lot of your family is involved in the business. How is that experience? How is it to work with family? I know it very well.
No, I know. I know you. Working with your entire family, it's the same with me, and it really is an honor to be able to just call my dad, call my mom, call my sister, my brother. Each one of them play an integral part of our business, and it's the reliability to know that everything done in the business is done from the heart. Done with care, done with passion. And that's how we're able to provide a service and move it to our consumers. And they see that. They see how much we care for them and why. It all starts with the family. And to me, like, that's the strongest part of why I am the way I am. And that's exactly why when I met you and you said, no, that's exactly who I am, and we both love wood floors, it was a no-brainer. Yeah. Of course, this is the guy I want to do business with.
So, if you had to remember one moment of your career in the flooring industry, what would that be?
You're gonna laugh at this.
Okay.
And this is probably not set to be spoken about. And that is our first experience together.
All right.
I think it's I've had many jobs and deals gone by, but one that I will always remember is the first one with Borja. And it was a custom floor. About say 5,000 square feet in Miami, very particular, and no one else could do it. And I got in contact with you and I said, hey, can you do this within this lead time? You said, yeah, not a problem. We can make it happen. And I was hesitant. I wasn't sure where it could go. Sure enough, within the lead time, within the parameters of the floor, it was a fumed product, and not manufacturers could do it. And you made it happen, and because of you, we succeeded, to lock in a great contact of a contractor that has used us from that time forward.
Yeah, I do remember that job very well. That was crazy, man. Yeah, that product, we had to go far and beyond to be able to get that tone. We tried with stain, we tried with reactive stain. It was so hard, but we had to kind of burn it a little bit to get that brownish color. It was really tough to get that one. But, well, here we are after a couple of years.
There we are.
And thank God we tried that. And Jonathan, we are super excited to have you on board. We've learned so much from you guys. We keep learning every day. And we can't wait for our growth together. And there is nothing else I can do but thank you for everything.
No, Borja, no. Thank you for, putting this together, for the partnership. This isn't a one-time deal. This is a future together. So we're honored to be partnered with Riva. And we're really looking forward to where this is going to end.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.